Whoa, what is going on here? Oh, there we go. Okay, let's test the levels. That seems fine. Here, I'll turn my actual volume down. Oh boy. Oh boy. This is not gonna be fun. Okay, it's just the VN anyway. How long can they be? I think the levels seem fine. Yeah, that looks fine. Maybe a bit quieter, because I'm not talking very loud today. Just looking because I want to play this. Yeah, I know. It's pretty. It sounds like a good game. I'll probably only play a couple hours of this, and then I probably won't stream the rest of it. I'll probably just play on my own time, unless I somehow have internet and power over the cyclone time. We'll see. Why does the system sound seem so much quieter? Sure, whatever. Whatever. Wow, I did not see this. 24 hours because I'm not an idiot. I like this text editing. Oh. Oh, very cool. I kind of like the default. The width. The fuck? I can't even move this thing, bro. Oh my god. Yeah, just have it max. Capacity, yeah, that's fine. I kind of like bold, eh? That's some big and bold. Colored text. Colored speaker. Oh, I kind of do like the colored text. That's kind of interesting. Without text on sprite change. I mean, if they want to leave it like that, that seems like a good thing though, but maybe not. Speaker indicator symbol, none. Yeah, that's fine. Outline. I can change the outline. Wow, you can make it really clear, huh? Yeah, that's nice. Having it clearer is that's not a bad thing. I'll put on that. Text speed, make it mad fast. I do not like fucking slow text speed shit. Yeah, that seems fine to me. We start? Yeah, I did not need the FPS counter. December 15th, 2011. So I don't know anything about this game, besides like a general description of it from someone in the Brisbane Discord. So it feels like it feels like something that I would like, but we'll see. It's been a long time since I played a traditional VN, like this style of VN. Where it's like, I don't know if there's any actual like, any actual walking around, any actual RPG elements. I'm pretty sure it's just text, maybe some stuff, like some choices or something. Oh yeah, I don't know if there's any voice acting in this game. It doesn't seem like there was. So I'm gonna be reading everything again. I mean, I'm not gonna pick dub anyway. I don't think a dub for a game like this would be good. But yeah, I guess we'll see. We'll see what happens. I'd been mindlessly staring at the wall in front of me for a few minutes. When that finally registered, I slowly spun around. I'd always thought I'd be quick at adapting to sudden changes, but I'd recently realized how mistaken I'd been. Still unable to process everything, my brain kept struggling to accept that the previous few days had really happened. I wasn't familiar with the walls around me, but I'd always known of the place. Next to me was Shiroya, less willing to acknowledge her surroundings. Keeping her gaze on the floor, she suddenly spoke for the first time since we'd entered. I think it'll be time soon. Damn, is this best girl? I'm not sure if this is gonna be best girl. I kind of like her design. But we'll see how her personality is. Yeah, probably less than 20 minutes. That was all I managed to muster. Even though I was still the same Atsuki as always, it felt like I'd been rewritten into an entirely different entity in only a few days. I didn't try to say anything else. During the previous 2 weeks, I'd grown accustomed to those brief interactions with Shiroya. After I spoke, the lost look in her eyes returned. We had both agreed to come together, but it seemed like neither of us knew what we were doing. We kept awkwardly scanning the vast hall, moving forward tiny steps at a time and awaiting further instructions. Neither of us had any strength. I'd known Shiroya for more than 15 years, and not once had she looked so empty. On top of everything, I hadn't been able to make her feel any better. Despite that, at almost 9 o'clock, we were inside Ashiya Tower. The biggest building of Yashibana, the town where we'd always lived. It was situated on the outskirts, and we'd never entered it before. From the outside, the tower's contrast with its surroundings was immense. Beyond all the similar looking houses, its size made it visible anywhere in the town. It was that contrast which had caused it to be called a tower, but it was only as big as an urban building. The structure itself was more or less a cube, essentially as wide as it was tall, but it seemed towering to people who had spent their whole lives in a rural area. It was a place Shiroya and I had always avoided because of the stigma associated with it. A large portion of the citizens were against its existence due to the people who owned it and its unnatural size. I wasn't very familiar with the topic. Apparently, decades in the past, when the building hadn't been anywhere near as large, it had been the Ashiya family's residence. It was known that they were a shady family, but they never suffered any consequences. At the time, they held a silent power over the town, and over the years it gradually grew stronger. They became the image of Yashibana. Anyone visiting from the outside knew about that family before anything else in the town. Over the years, the old residence transformed into a focal point for business and tourism. I never immersed myself in the matter, but that was common information that I couldn't even recall where I'd heard first. The place was at some sort of museum, and behind it extended a mountain range that encircled Yashibana. It was known for housing numerous caves that held valuable gemstones, so enthusiasts tended to visit often. The Ashiya family had taken advantage of it and utilized their building as a gallery for the different gemstones that could be found in the nearby mountains. And when that happened, the part of the town in favor of the tower strengthened due to the increase of people who specialized in those gemstones. That was what caused a split in the population. The younger residents generally didn't mind Ashiya, while the older maintained their private discontent. Interesting. Okay. Utilize building gallery for different gemstones that could be found in nearby mountains. Okay. That was why we had never entered it, and on top of our more recent circumstances, I thought Shiroya might have been experiencing a feeling of betrayal for simply being there. While I couldn't say I shared that strong of an emotion toward it, I wasn't very fond of the whole thing either. The reason why we were— oh fuck's sake. The reason why we were inside wasn't one I could easily put into words. There had been constant publicity about the day's events for 2 weeks. According to Ashiya, they were going to showcase a major discovery, one found in the very same mountains around the town. But that wasn't something that particularly interested me, and I wasn't sure what to expect. The reason we had come to the tower wasn't anything as simple as curiosity. What the fuck, there's too much text already, my brain hurts. Yeah. This is 40 hours, by the way. I have to read every line. I'm not finishing this fucking game, dude. There's no fucking way in hell. Not on the stream, anyway. It was December 15th. Outside, the environment was cold and coated in snow, and while the temperature inside was regulated, we'd been outside for so long that we still felt unpleasant. I glanced at Shiroya, who didn't return my look. Feeling slightly agitated, I turned a little. I could see a line of people who had come thanks to Ashiya's ambitious advertisements. Shiroya and I had been at the front of it for a long time. Well, that's why we have voice acting so the viewers don't have to read. I assume 2fast is doing that. I'm text only. Bro, you think there's voice acting in this game, bro? Nice joke. Nice joke, Jay. It's too bad you can't hear my joke, Jay. Oh, it's actually a person. The first sprite. Next to us was a man I'd never seen before. He was tall and had dark hair, and like us, he seemed distant from everyone else. I hadn't seen him so much as look at me, so I hadn't given him a second thought. We were next to him because we would go see the gemstone in groups of 3. Since we'd been the initial 3 to show up, we formed the first group. Interesting. Groups of 3, huh? What the fuck? You're missing out on these zings by 2fast. It's true. That's what you get. I mean, like, just play the game through my stream, Jay. It's not that hard. What could you be missing out on? The entrance fee had been expensive, but we'd paid it well in advance. From our perspective, it had been worth it. Really? Really worth it? We remained by the door that would open at 9 AM, simply waiting for that to happen. At our left was another door that would open at the same time. According to what we've been told, both led to the main floor of the tower. On that particular day, not many people seemed to care about that, as everyone who could be seen was part of our line. For a moment, I wondered what the big deal was. Ishibana wasn't a large town, so the amount of people waiting behind us was fairly impressive. All that for a gemstone didn't seem quite right to me. Okay. It's just a very interesting starting scenario, huh? Looking at a fucking gemstone, huh? But perhaps it made sense, given that it was Ashiya's event. They cared about appearances, as anyone could attest. They were in many lines of business, but the most important one was looking good. Apart from the line, the only other people in the lobby were guards talking with a policeman, a woman behind the reception desk checking everyone's tickets, and a janitor who had been scrubbing the same part of the floor for a while. It was all unsettling and alien. The event itself was an abstract thing to me, and my view on the people who ran it was far from positive. All I could do was look at things and wait for it all to start. We'd been asked to leave our phones outside for the duration of our stay, as nothing of the sort was permitted in the building. That meant that I had no way of looking at the time. There weren't any clocks on the walls. Adding the fact that the person I was with was clearly uncomfortable and trying to hide it, the long wait had been much more tedious than I'd hoped. I continued looking at her, not knowing how to deal with the situation better. Finally, after minutes of looking down, she suddenly lifted her head as if she just remembered that she was in a public environment. Following behind, she looked at me and seemed to try to smile. But it was barely visible before vanishing again. I kept falling back into negative thoughts. No matter how I tried, I couldn't help that. I needed to be stronger and help lift Shiroya out of the pit she was in, but that was tricky, seeing as I'd first had to get out of the same one. So I just struggled against my feelings, wishing all the while that I could go back to how things had been before. Oh, something happening? I'll just assume he said something funny and post Keck W every 10 minutes. Oh. 10 minutes is a bit of a large gap though. I don't think it takes that long for zingers. Gemstone looking for buy. I don't know what the fuck they're doing. I do not understand what's happening right now. Minutes later, a well-dressed man who had been standing near the entrance told us that if we weren't waiting for the event, we could go through the left door. Oh, we are waiting for the event. Shortly after, a tall blonde woman wearing a suit emerges through the one on the right. A suit? Huh? And why does her face look so weird, bro? She could be best girl just off being in a suit, man. It's a shame. The glasses, though. Pretty rough, though. I'd seen her in a coat earlier, before she disappeared through one of the doors. She looked over everyone present and began to explain what the procedure would be. Sorry for the wait, everyone. We'll now begin the group entrances. My name is Naomi. I'll be chaperoning today's guided visit. Wow, she actually has like an English name. I thought her name would be something like fucking Japanese. As you likely already know, groups of 3 will move forward in turns. Each visit is estimated to take approximately 15 minutes. Why is it like an approximate time? Shouldn't it just be like an exact time? If this is like looking at a gemstone, like why is it approximations? Whatever. Once inside, I will personally explain what we have prepared, and I will also be available to answer questions within the specified time. Naomi's explanation was directed at everyone present, but it was hard to believe anyone farther back could have heard her. She continued in a monotone voice. Keep in mind that phones and video cameras are strictly prohibited. I ask for all of you to please be patient and await your turn. When her scripted message was over, she relaxed her posture and directed her look at us. You 3 are the first group, correct? Seconds later, nobody had answered. The 2 people at my sides had barely paid attention to her, so I spoke before she would have to ask again. Yes. Alright then. Please follow me to the event room to be the first to see the Sekimeiya. Sekimeiya? This is the thing that they were talking about. We've name dropped the title already. Amazing. I'd heard that word many times recently, but before I could think, she turned around and walked through the same door she'd entered from. I looked to my right to check on Shiroya. Her demeanor hadn't changed, but she was aware of the situation. By the time I turned back, the man on my left had nearly reached the door. It seemed he was taking the initiative despite his unenthused appearance. Rather, it was probably better to think of myself as lagging behind than him being proactive. I followed, motioning to Shiroya as I did. She approached me, still wearing a heavy-looking coat. We found ourselves in a long hallway. We could see many doors lining each wall, some opened and connected by a decorative handrail. However, there were no traces of Naomi or the man. Hey, what? He lost them already. What the fuck are you talking about? The floor seemed pointlessly wide. Up to the end of the hall, I could see a number of security cameras hanging from the ceiling. As we started walking, unclear about where to go, I found it appropriate to try to talk with Shiroya again. Oh, because Naomi and the man, so they just walked ahead so fast? We're so far behind that we can't even fucking see them? That's fucking crazy, dude. Wait, why does it... So if I tab out, it fucking... It goes, it makes the screen black. Why does it do that? That's weird, because it should just be capturing my screen. Oh well. I shouldn't be tabbing out that often anyway. Okay, I found it appropriate to try to talk with Shiroya again. Are you feeling better? Oh, yeah, I'm fine, don't worry about it. She continued walking, assuming that was the end of our exchange. I tried to press it a bit further. Do you regret coming? No, of course not. I'm seriously glad we're here, I mean it. I know how you feel, okay? It's the same for me. It doesn't help a lot to say it, but I don't want to see you sad. I'm here because I want to be, Atsuki. I'm okay, this is where I need to be right now. Sorry, I must look terrible. She wasn't being very convincing. You know, this isn't something you need to apologize for. Nothing about this is your fault. I'm not so sure. I wish I didn't have to be a drag for you now. Hey, come on. If you want to leave, we still can. Don't feel like you have to push yourself for my sake. It's alright. Thank you. Let's continue, though. I was the one who wanted to come. She was the one who wanted to come. Wait, what? We'd hoped coming to the exhibition would be for the better. Once it was settled that we wouldn't back out, I looked around shyly until a voice calling for us came from the middle of the hallway, through an open door. You two, hurry up, the clock is ticking. The unprofessional shout broke the silence and drew us forward. I saw her figure in a seemingly empty room. Through the other doors there were cabinets covered by red cloths. Good, we're all finally here. Now we can start. Once I went inside, I realized my initial impression had been wrong. The room would have been barren if it weren't for a single cabinet covered by a velvet curtain. The black-haired man was there, yet again looking entirely aloof and fixing his eyes on the plain opposite wall. Alright, it would be helpful if you could tell me your name since you know mine. While she said that, she closed the door we'd come through, and I took notice of the security camera in one of the corners, which was fitting for the place we were in. There was another closed door on the opposite wall, so we'd had 15 minutes ahead of us before we would be shut inside. Naomi looked at me expectantly, probably because I'd been the one to speak earlier. Atsuki Hakutoki. Shiroya Mirana. Mirana? Without being wait, what? Without being cajoled. I don't think I've ever seen that word like typed out. Without being cajoled, Shiroya spoke her name. To my relief, she was looking directly at Naomi, and her posture was significantly less stiff than before. The black-haired man didn't respond immediately when we eyed him. And your name? Akaro. Akaro Esata. These are some weird last names for Japanese people, right? Surely these are like Mirana? Esata? These are not traditional, I think. Maybe it's just not really relevant. I don't even know if this country is Japan, dude. It was hard to read him. He looked passive, but he must have been interested in the exhibition. Naomi moved aside and placed herself before the velvet curtain. Then she took out a keyring from her pocket as she got ready to begin the introduction. As you might already know, what's behind this curtain is not to be taken lightly. And being the first public viewers is a bigger privilege than you might think. Or we're the first people to see it. I thought there was like other groups and we had like we were just waiting for other people to be like, you know, to be done. What's being kept here is among the rarest pieces that we've ever seen. And it's only been 2 weeks since the discovery. We estimate that the value of this cabinet's contents is immense. A proper appraisal has already occurred, but more estimates will come forth as everyone realizes just what we have in our hands. So it's like some gemstone that no one has fucking seen before, and we're paying to go see it, and we're the first people to show up, and the girl doesn't seem like she really fucking gives a fuck. And we don't seem like we care that much as well. Haha, good one. Keck W. Yeah, fuck you, Jay. Yeah, nice. Part of the experience is the touch, so I will open the glass and let you experience it yourselves. However, I must insist that you be gentle and keep your hands inside the cabinet at all times. Wait, what? We can touch... well, not the gemstone, but like... Wait, but if it's not the gemstone, what's so good about it? So they're letting us touch it? Wait, what? So they don't want us to move our hands like out of the cabinet? Unless like, I don't know, whatever. We'll see. This is just really weird. We know and don't need this introduction, so let's move along. You've been praising this find of yours in every advertisement. Let's see how your claims hold up. Is he like an appraiser or something? Akaro's sudden input took us by surprise, but it made it clear that he did not care about the event. My apologies. Let's start then. Naomi put a small key into a lock on the left side of the cabinet and turned it. Admittedly, all the build-up was making me slightly curious, but for all I knew, we were talking about a slightly shining rock. Nothing that would ever interest me very much. Yeah, see? This guy doesn't give a fuck, dude. So what are we doing here? Let's stop with the teasing. Here's what you've come to see. Named the Sekimeiya. With one hand, she grabbed the bottom of the curtain and began to raise it. But even though my focus should have been on the cabinet, something else took priority. Was it the girl, Shiroya? When I was least expecting it, smoke rose instead of the curtain, accompanied by a familiar, putrid smell that invaded the room. What is this? There we go, boys. 999 all over again. I'm getting fucking gassed, frame 1. Without bothering to ask myself questions, I tried to find Shiroya. At my right, I saw her face morphing into shock. Atsuki, what? Her last word faded out quietly, and it was then when I realized that my consciousness was getting cloudy. All of a sudden, all I could see was very dark smoke filling my field of vision. I couldn't believe it was happening again? Again? What the fuck are you talking about? Naomi's hand had immediately released the curtain, and she was trying to steady herself while covering her nose. I couldn't find a car until I looked down and saw he had already fallen to the floor. The smoke filled up the entire room at once. In just a few seconds, my legs stopped responding, and all my efforts at getting my muscles to obey me were met with failure. At last, my entire body gave up and I plummeted down. Thanks to the view I had from the floor, I could see Shiroya's outcome had not been any different, and from the falling noise I heard, the same could be said for Naomi. Behind Shiroya was the door we'd come through. The smoke had covered the ceiling, so everything was dark. Amidst the confusion, I was able to notice the lack of light under the door, something which should have been easily noticeable from such a dark place. Lack of light under the door, so what, they turned all the lights off? In like the hallway? What happened to the other guy? Okay, so Akara's already on the floor. When I ultimately accepted there was nothing I could do to salvage the situation, I had a few seconds where I could only think about what was going on. Our room and its surroundings were fully silent. I couldn't hear a thing despite what had happened. I wasn't able to produce any noise. What the fuck had just happened? I was able to recognize how strange it was. Both doors had been closed, so I had no idea where the smoke had come from. Oh, spacebar just deletes that. Knowing the smoke was blotting out our awareness, I realized it had been done deliberately. And there were many reasons I could come up with as to why, going off what we'd just been told. As my remaining consciousness faded away, I could only hope I would quickly wake up to see Shiroya again. I wanted to pretend that I knew nothing would happen, but the images came back to me, seeing that hole in the floor. As my consciousness remained, I could only hope I could quickly wake up to see Shiroya. I wanted to pretend that I knew nothing would happen, but the images came back to me, seeing that hole in the floor. So he knows it would. He knew that would happen, because like he said before that it happened again or something. My heartbeat slowed and became inaudible. I knew that resisting was completely futile, so I closed my eyes, hoping to fast forward to being awake again. The thought of dying there was pathetic, but without a choice in the matter, I resigned myself to what was happening. So what, has he got time loop powers? Is he fucking re-zeroing in it? You know, what the fuck's going on? Before all my senses faded, the silence was broken by a loud alarm, which had taken a while to be broadcast after the appearance of the smoke. Further in the background, I briefly perceived a much fainter and rougher sound that I couldn't identify. I lay in the floor of that smoky room with 3 other people, completely powerless and clueless. Soon after that, the alarm played, the darkness became absolute, and all my thoughts vanished. Chapter 1, Foot of the Mountain. Actually, here we go, boys. The music has gotten very loud all of a sudden, huh? Wonder if it's gonna quieten down. Oh, here we go. So a lot of pauses, huh? Indeterminate amount of time had passed. I was a complete mess. And the constant pain pounded against the interior of my skull. Can I change the music volume? Just turn it down a little bit. It's just gotten really loud. Can I keep notes? Welcome to notes. As you advance through the game, an overview of past events will unlock automatically. Each logged entry is comprised of 3 sections. Title shows the title of the current scene along with the number of the entry. With shows the characters who appear in the scene. It's locked until the entire entry unlocks. Overview summarizes the events that took place during the scene. Character 2 and I arrive at location 1. Oh, so that's just an example. All the important events will be logged the moment you reach them. We hear a sound coming to location 3. Oh, interesting. Click on the show notes button to add a new section to the entries. In the notes section of every entry, you can write your own notes. Use this to keep track of important information and your theories. Oh, that's cool. Use the text style options to highlight keywords and structure your notes as you want. Select text and apply bold, italics, underline, strike through, and color styles. You can use width arrows to prioritize either the overview or the notes section. Yep, quick menu, blah blah blah, copy overview, yep, go to search. Formatting, style using copy all. Yep, fair enough, okay. Then the title section, collapse. Yep. Collapsed entries, yep, that's all. Please use note section, access the notes. Okay, so this is like a mechanic that I feel like I would love to use, and I would think is really sick, but I don't know how I would actually use it. I guess you know. Why does Atsuki say he knew it would happen? It seems like he knows more than he is telling us. It's weird, like I do like it when the POV characters like hide stuff from the viewers, I should say. I do like stuff like that. But you know, we'll see how it goes. Nothing had changed apart from the walls and ceilings, which had been tainted by the smoke. Did I miss any other thing before? I just head hurt. As I confirmed that I was still in the event room, I tried to battle the intense headache mercilessly, hammering me from the inside, focusing my vision in an attempt to spot Shiroya. So I guess the only thing I can think of right now is that someone stole the gem or whatever the fuck it was, so they wanted the person to open it. And as soon as they opened like it with the key, because maybe they were worried about like, oh, you know, if we get the key too early, you know, maybe it'll be, you know, we don't know how she opens it. Because apparently we're the first people to ever see it, so maybe they weren't sure. So as soon as fucking Jay did. Oh my god. I hope you watch this back when you finish this game. You see how silly you were being. Focusing my vision in an attempt to spot Shiro. Yeah, I don't know what's happening here. Like, I guess maybe someone tried to steal it or something. I guess we'll see. Okay, your boy hopefully copped a 9070 XT. Oh yeah, you did? You reckon? I wonder if Seb got one, because 9070 XT seems like a pretty good buy, honestly. It seems pretty decent value. I think it was like 1100 or 1200, like a base version of it, which is, I think it's similar to 5070 Ti, which is like 1500. So probably honestly not a bad buy. A pretty good value. Like, I definitely overpaid for the 5070 Ti. But at least I'm using it well, you know, I'm playing games that really need it. So thank God for that. I'm glad I'm not sure if I've got MFG running. You want to swap? Okay, we can swap if you pay the difference, you know? Actually, maybe even not, honestly. I do like 5070 Ti. I do like Nvidia features, even though I have to pay fucking $1 billion for them. There she was, still on the floor. She hadn't moved since I'd blacked out. I used all the energy I could muster to try to rise, and after a few attempts I was able to sit up. While I crawled to Shiroya, I looked behind me. As expected, Akaru's body still lay on the floor, but he was far from my first priority. I reached Shiroya and turned her to face me. Her eyes were half open and she seemed conscious, which is exactly what I needed to see. The way he's talking about this, like, he clearly knows something is like, it's just like, the way he's describing the situation is so odd. Are you My sentence was cut off by dry coughing that took over my body. It seemed I'd inhaled a bit of the smoke, but it might have meant that we hadn't been unconscious for a long time. Yes, I think so. Her eyes opened fully, and she tried to steady herself with an arm. That smoke, was it? Maybe. Listen, we'll find out what happened. Just stay here for a minute, okay? Do you feel okay? Even she seems like she knows something now. Like, was it what? Like, did she knew that would happen or something? Or knew that there was a risk of that happening? Like, what the fuck's happening? I mean, just the whole attitude of coming in here is weird. Do you feel okay? Yes. I could tell that she was barely keeping it together. She must have been afraid of the worst, just like I was, but at that time we'd woken up safely. Scared of the worst? What? I looked around me. It was a bizarre sight, and the disgusting smell was still present after the smoke had faded. The room had been painted black, the curtains beautiful red, and the walls, the ceiling, had all been corrupted by an ugly dark color, almost purple. The floor, however, had not received the same treatment. It had become grey, but it was nowhere near the strong black that had consumed the ceiling. And there was something much more important that I quickly noticed. Naomi's gone. She's not there. She's not here. What? You're right. Where could she have gone? The door's open. The door we'd not gone through was very slightly ajar. Naomi could have woken up and left through it. Maybe to understand what had happened after seeing we were still knocked out. Why would you close the door though? If you opened it, if you were escaping, like, to do that, why would you then close the door? You know, it doesn't make any sense. Unless she was like trying to keep the gas in that room. Maybe the other room she's in is like small or something, so she wanted to keep the shit out. But wouldn't you have just closed it fully? You left it open? Maybe in a rush or something. Yeah, you can make arguments here. Even reaching that small conclusion took a lot out of me, but the headache was beginning to fade almost as quickly as it had come on. I noticed our voices had woken up Akaro, who still hadn't moved at all. Ugh. What the fuck is this? He felt his face with his hand as he grimaced, then he slowly stood up and attempted to balance himself while perplexedly looking around him. Hey, what's all this? You said Naomi's gone? What the fuck just happened? I think a lot of smoke suddenly appeared out of nowhere, right? Did it knock us out? For the first time he started a conversation with us. Before answering, I began to clean my face, as the smoke had created a sticky mask on it as well. Sticky mask, huh? I have no idea, but yes, that smoke must have had something in it that made us fall unconscious. And a few seconds before I fainted, a very loud alarm went off. An alarm? I must have fallen unconscious too fast. All I remember is getting very dizzy out of nowhere and falling over. I don't think I heard it either. Did it say anything? You didn't hear the alarm, bro? No, it was only a loud sound. While I was still attempting to stand up, Akara walked to the open door and looked through it. Oh, what the hell happened here? It's very dark, but the hallway's condition is the same. The walls and ceilings are black, and I can't see anyone. The whole hallway's covered. How much smoke was there? Everyone must have evacuated when they heard the alarm, even though it came a bit after the smoke appeared. Did you see where the smoke came from? I didn't see anything, and there's nothing here. No, but you're right. It surrounded us in an instant, and it probably appeared in this room and in the hallways at the same time. Both of those doors were closed, so the origin had to have been here. Something must have happened while we were unconscious. Why are we alone though? There were police officers outside. Why haven't they come? We couldn't answer. Still a bit disorientated, I forced my neck to turn. The only thing in the room was the covered cabinet. However, I doubted the Sekimeiya would still be there. The easiest conclusion to reach was that the smoke had been part of an attack designed to steal it. Yep. That makes sense. The smoke wasn't released in the other rooms in the hallway. Everything was giving me a surreal vibe. I had no idea what was going on, but at first glance, the danger seemed to have faded away. My headache was nearly gone, thankfully. That meant that I could start thinking things through. What had happened? Why had it happened? How was I going to find the person responsible? Why does it matter to you though? Who gives a fuck, dude? It's not your gem. Maybe I was just trying to distract myself from reality by thinking things like that. But I had a personal stake in it. I couldn't forgive whoever was responsible. You have a personal stake in it? Why do you have a personal stake in it? Shiroya probably felt the same way. We couldn't just ignore it, and someone was missing. Do they have like I'm not sure why they have a personal stake in it. The room was empty, and it had been empty before we'd fallen unconscious. Only the cabinet had been with us, but if the smoke had come out of it, it wouldn't have surrounded us so fast. We'd had been stained, but not as much on the lower parts of our bodies. The ceiling was very dark, whereas the floor not so much. The smoke's density must have been low. Did that mean the origin of the smoke had been the very center of the room? How did that make any sense? The smoke's density must have been very low. Yeah, like, because smoke just by the nature of it, like, is typically heavier than air, so it goes down, right? Or does it rise? Oh no, it does rise up, yeah, never mind. Because when there's a fire in a house, you crawl on the ground, because the smoke goes up. So like, it probably didn't come from the floor, it probably came, yeah, it probably came from like this, you know, a center-ish head level. Shiroya staggered slightly. I reached out to try and hold her shoulder, but as my body was still recovering, both of us fell back to the floor. Without looking at us, Akara walked to the door we'd entered through. It happened here too. Yeah, when I fell to the floor, I noticed there was no light below that door. Given how dark the room had become, I thought the hallway must have been just as dark. The smoke was released at the same time, even though both places looked empty. What the fuck is this about? That woman disappeared, but she fell unconscious too, didn't she? And you're right, why is no one else here? Although those points were very strange, I was still relieved that none of us had been harmed. I lay on the floor for a bit, attempting to gather more strength. When thoughts came to me, it was calming to realize that they were different from what had recently filled my head. This room connects two parallel hallways, which were attacked alongside the room all at once. Was this done to isolate us? Someone attacked the building to steal the Sekimeiya, right? That must have been the intention. The smoke formed an easy path for whoever had planned it to make their way here, obtain the Sekimeiya, and leave. It sounds like a messy and risky plan, but it's the obvious thing that comes to mind. The open door seems to reinforce it, even though Naomi must have left through one anyway. Do I have to conclude that Naomi was part of this, and while we were out, she took the Sekimeiya and left? Putting this much suspicion in herself? Being a staff member, she should know many things about the security system, and we were the first group to come, meaning out of the four, she was the only one that wasn't part of the first visit, coincidentally. I mean, would she really wait? Would she wait, like what? Why would you not do it? Like, I don't know. Why would you do it on the very first visit? Why would you not, like, wait a bit to, like, add, you know? Because, like, if you do it the very first one, there's, like, it's just not too many, there's not many people involved, you know? Or I could say that if I knew Akara at all, I did think he looked distant from everything else. Maybe Akara was aware of the fact that smoke would appear. He immediately faked his unconsciousness by throwing himself to the floor, knowing he would avoid breathing anything from the upper half of the room. The fact that the floor is barely stained proves the smoke never came down. Once we're all out of it, he obtains the Sekimeiya. Yeah, but he's still there. And where is Naomi? I should also consider that the smoke first arose shortly after Naomi unlocked the cabinet. This doesn't mean much, given she'd fall unconscious and leave the key available to be picked up. But if whoever did this didn't know much about the cabinet's mechanism, it makes sense they waited until it was unlocked. Yeah, that's like what I said earlier, yeah. But how did they know exactly when that was? Doesn't this mean they must have been inside the room? Or again, doesn't this mean that only Akara could have done it? Assuming this precise timing actually happened, how did he trigger the smoke? It could simply be that he gave some sort of signal to someone else outside. The phones aren't allowed here. It's like a million ways you could have signaled someone, unless there's like specific anti-radio wave shit in this house, which I don't even know how fucking... What is it called? A Faraday cage? Like, and they made the room like a Faraday cage? But like, if there's doors with gaps of light under it, then surely shit gets out. And it wasn't established or anything that there was any sort of mechanism like that. After we regained consciousness, he seemed to be perfectly fine physically. However, the mass difference between his body and our 19-year-old ones is very noticeable. It makes sense that the substance had a somewhat weaker effect on him. Thank God we confirmed the ages of the protagonists. I did notice that, like, he seemed like, because he was knocked out, like one of the first lines after the gas was like, he was already on the ground. You know what I mean? Like, that's kind of, I thought that was a little bit odd, or if that was just, it was just describing it in order, since he wasn't, like, he had barely spoken, they just described the character that didn't speak at all first, because, get him out of the way. Is Akara in possession of the Sekimeiya right now, or did he leave it somewhere? If so, why did he come back? Only to not look suspicious, but this doesn't explain Naomi's disappearance. And how did the smoke appear, or why did the alarm sound late? And what kind of risky plan is this? Did the alarm sound late? I don't think it was late or anything, like, it wasn't that bad. I grimaced. I was getting carried away without realizing how far I was going. In the first place, it was ridiculous to suspect anyone until I had information. Can you just fucking look? Do you even know if it's actually gone? Can you fucking look in there, bro? But I knew I could never let things remain as they were. Someone was responsible and I wouldn't let them get away. I only had to bide my time. Before I could stand, I realized there was another avenue open to me. There was a security camera on the ceiling. I mean, if there's smoke, how much would it see? If someone was looking at the footage and the smoke came out of an automated system, this would make a lot more sense. However, it doesn't mean Akara couldn't simply have been the one to wait for the automated smoke to then follow with whatever plan they had. This must have happened during the first visit for a reason. Yeah, like I said, the first visit is kind of odd. It means that whoever was looking at the direct footage would have been the one to activate the smoke system. Sorry, I tabbed that for a second. I was doing it again, almost like a coping mechanism. I had to make sure Shiroya was really okay before anything else. I was doing it again. It's like, what does that mean? When I attempted to lift my head, my body thankfully obeyed. I stared at the curtain that concealed the so-called Sekimeiya. It was dark, and the substance the smoke was comprised of had dried up on it. Can you stand up? I think so. Supporting each other, Shiroya and I slowly steadied ourselves. Then I realized the Kairo had gone to the hallway. Finally, thank goodness. A shout came from the same area. It was a feminine voice, which at least indicated we weren't alone. We walked to it slowly as I wiped more of the solidified substance off of myself. I was curious to see if the Sekimeiya was still in the cabinet, but we would find that out very soon regardless. Bro, just look, my man. It's making me suspicious that there's something in there. The hallway was almost as dark as the room. The smoke had coated every light bulb, but since there were many of them, some light could make it past the barrier. The smoke had created a thorough cover on the walls and ceilings, which must have been an intended result. It had set up a dark environment, but that couldn't be the sole purpose. Something had been added to the smoke to create the same effect on every surface it touched. Close to the side of the hallway, near the door Naomi had first appeared through, I saw human figures. Our approaching footsteps were noticed by one, and it rose from its knees. I got closer and saw two more people kneeling down. Akara was with them, and after finally arriving where they were, I noticed a small body on the floor. Isla's finally waking up, thank God. That woman was the person we'd heard. She had the little girl on her lap and was looking at her closed eyes with concern. 2 new characters? Or 3 new characters? I see. So you 3 were also not able to evacuate. Evacuate, huh? The person who had stood up was a well-dressed old man. As he said that, the 2 kneeling people turned their heads to face us. But the words "not able to evacuate" had sounded darker than I'd expected, especially due to his rough voice. Yeah, like what? Like we can't evacuate now? Like what? Why is he saying it like we're trapped? Is she okay? I think so. She's finally breathing fine. Shiroya sat next to the others and worriedly looked at the girl who had been called Isla. Next to them was a guy my age who was staring at the girl in silence. Smoke appeared out of nowhere and knocked us out. Do you know what happened? I'm afraid I don't. You were in the event room, right? Shouldn't another woman be with you? Naomi, yes. She was gone when we woke up. Despite the dim light, I was able to discern his frown. Yeah, he's sus. pretty sure she passed out too, but the door to the other hallway was open when we woke up. She left while you were still unconscious? That's strange. I inspected this floor a bit and I didn't find her. It's because she's in the... She went to the different door, right? Is that strange? Maybe she exited the building entirely. When his look lowered again, I realized there was something very important that we were missing. Why was nobody else there? Why had the unconscious child not been taken outside at the very least? It's because we're trapped. She couldn't have left. If she fell unconscious like the rest of you, she still has to be here. What? The man didn't answer immediately, so I took the time to look him over. Due to the lighting, I'd just gotten the impression that he was a simple, well-dressed old man. But those who went casual clothes, yeah, he's like a security guard, right? Did all of you hear the alarm that played throughout the building? After I heard it, I saw all the smoke. That's the wrong order though, isn't it? The smoke happened and then the alarm. Those words made me consider an important detail. His shirt was white and a lot less stained than ours, indicating that it hadn't been hit by the smoke during its release. In contrast, the woman and the other guy had the same smoke pattern we did, being more stained on the top halves. The stature of the child had made her face the main target. So it was kind of like knee, pelvis height. I don't know how tall this child is. But if he was in like a security room and he didn't get hit by the smoke, maybe the smoke, you know, wasn't in that room. Like also, if you're gonna steal something, wouldn't you like target the security room? Like wouldn't that be like an ideal spot to target? You know, makes sense to me. I'm responsible for this building security system. When the smoke appeared, I was in the security room, down in the other hallway. Yep, in the other hallway. I know this isn't relevant, but Fed, I got the graphics card, dude. Nice, man. Sick. Now you just gotta... I assume you got a PCK ski. You gotta get it delivered now. Fuck. It's gonna be rough. At least you got it. Didn't get the bots to fucking snipe it off you. Yeah, well, luckily there's like... Unless you're playing Monster Hunter like right now, you don't really need it immediately, I guess. But yeah, no, it's a good deal. AMD seems to be pretty good deal. 2070 XT. Once you get your 9070 XT, you can play visual novels like me. At how many frames? How many frames are we at? 165 frames. Oh my god. This is why this experience is so much better now. Fucking hell. I'm very happy with my purchase. Since today was a special day, most of the visitors were in the lobby awaiting their turn for the event, so they had no problem leaving safely when they saw the smoke. You might know that this tower has many floors, but only this one is open to the public, and no one was on the higher levels. Be more like 240 to get the full experience. Yeah, I don't know. One of the best card for VNs on the market. It's true. Get my AI frames for my VNs. This one is open to the... And no one was on the higher level. No one was on the higher levels? It was a big shock to see all that smoke, so I panicked and spent a while in the security room trying to figure out what had happened. When I realized I couldn't get anywhere, I exited and began searching through this floor. It seems you were all the first two groups of 3 for today's event. But does the kid count as a third person? Yes, we were told to wait here after the first group moved forward. Oh, that's right. I remember seeing her earlier, now that I look at her closer. I also recalled seeing the 3 of them behind us in the lobby. I was still trying to understand the man's words, though, as he had said the security room was in the other hallway. At the same time, we kept cleaning the smoke off our bodies until only a few traces remained. Yeah! I forgot when I was looking at chat. Fucking... He's not even from this same hallway. He's from the other hallway that Naomi is from. So how did he miss her? Like, if she's in that hallway, wouldn't you have seen her? What about the security cameras? Did you see any of these security cameras? This guy's mad sus. You said you saw the smoke, but your clothes are much cleaner than ours. Did it not hit you? Oh, our boy is getting sus on him. That's right. I didn't leave the room while it was in the hallway. Like, when I said I saw the smoke, I wasn't talking about the security cameras. Oh, I see. So he was the person that I just accused in my head. I wasn't able to figure anything out through the cameras. Unfortunately, when I left a few minutes later, I saw all the walls were black. A few minutes, okay. I knew he was slowly giving me information, so I didn't want to interrupt him. However, more questions were coming to my mind, such as why he hadn't come across our group first. Yeah, it's true. Like, yeah, not only would he have seen Naomi, he would have seen us and the fucking... He walked straight through the room? Is there any other way to get to the other hallway? Wait, you saw what the hallway looked like after you left the security room? Don't you have enough security cameras to see it from there? I couldn't help myself from asking for details. The more I tried to coast through things, the more I resisted it. I needed to know as much as possible. No, the thing is that they became useless after the smoke appeared and instantly covered the lens of every camera that was hit by it. Instantly? Okay. Maybe just, you know, he likes to exaggerate, this old guy. That makes sense. It must have been why the smoke created this film on every surface it touched. It worked to disable the cameras. Yes, while I was there, I had no way to know what was happening in the hallways or in the event room. I took my time to look at the footage of all the other rooms, but I didn't see anything suspicious at all. No people either. But I should get into what's most important. The alarm that played wasn't your usual emergency alarm. It was one that hadn't played before. Wait, what? I said that I stayed in the security room out of panic, but that's not all. Even if I'd left, it would have been pointless. One of the special functions of the alarm is to shut down all methods of escape. This means that we have no way to leave this building and that people outside can't enter. What? What fucking alarm is that, bro? Seems like the worst alarm of all time. So what happens if there's a fire? Oh shit, guys, we're gonna lock everyone down in the fucking burning building. What kind of fucking stupid shit is that? Why? What's like... I guess the idea is if someone stole something, they'd be trapped in here with us, so like... They can't escape with the stolen thingy. But like, fucking hell, man, like... Like, surely there's like some override, because someone eventually, like, how are we meant to get out? You know what I mean? Are you a detective in this game? I have no fucking idea what my guy's doing, man. My guy seems like a fucking, he just seems like some random ass dude. But I think he's hiding some stuff from us. Although I'd been kind of anticipating those words, it was still a heavy blow. Shiroya and I looked at each other. It seemed everything insisted on getting worse. I don't even know why we're here. It's so weird that we're here. Hang on. What the fuck? You're saying that we're trapped here? How long does it close the exit for? Why? And is there no way to undo it or contact the outside? I shouldn't have said anything. I should just let this guy say it all. Fuck no. It closes all the exit routes for 12 hours. The reason as to why is a bit complicated and for our purpose confidential. I'm sorry, but I can't get into that. As for a way to contact the outside, there should be one. We can try it. Shiroya wasn't faring well, and Akara seemed to be in complete disbelief at what he was hearing. Hey. It's going to be fine, okay? Yeah, okay. I turned back to the others. Barring Akara, none of them seemed very surprised about the situation. Yeah, these guys are just chill. Oh yeah, you know, fucking big smoke. Big smoke showed up in the fucking room, everything's all fucked up. Easy clap, boys. You know what would make this better? No, what would make it better? Some Russian techno from the Northern Hemisphere. Are you sure Northern Hemisphere though? I hope you Google that before you type that. You know, it's true. Sometimes it's hard to tell what hemisphere countries are in. Quite a difficult thing to figure out. And let me check the map. Yeah, thank God. Please, someone. North is like upright. Yeah, I'm pretty sure. Wait, let me just. Yeah, no. That's true. Is this not a shock for you? Yo, these cunts are so chill, dude. They, like, even the sprite, like, even the images of them, they don't give a fuck that this is happening. I already told them, getting Isla out of here would normally have been the first thing any of us would have done. It didn't seem like the type of building to have medical equipment stored in it, so the woman must have immediately tried to extract who I could only assume was her daughter. There was no reason to think that some secret entrance existed, so I more or less had to assume... I'm so sorry, Panda. Oh my god. It's spelled differently though, you can relax. It's not the same thing, it's like island, you know? Let's put an N and a D at the end. Oh, brother. I'm cooked. I was wondering, I was like, it'd be funny if Panda showed up in this stream, but he probably won't. He's probably asleep or something. Okay. It didn't seem like to have Billy medical equipment stored in it, so the woman must have immediately tried to extract who I could only assume was her daughter. There was no reason to think that some secret entrance existed, so I more or less had to assume that we really were trapped for half a day. The existence of such an alarm seemed absurd, but at the first glance, it also might have succeeded at trapping whoever had been responsible for the smoke. So you're right, Naomi still has to be here. And is that it? I get that most people were in the lobby, but if someone else had entered the hallways, they couldn't have evacuated either. Yeah, like, if they managed to evacuate, then surely, like, there's some sort of time lag. Is it possible that smoke in the hallway wasn't as dense, which gave people time to run from it before the alarm went off? Is the game just a command prompt with Etchy? I have no idea if there's sexual content. I didn't actually look at any of the tags. Because on VNDB, it will tell you if the game, it will have a tag saying non-sexual content, which means there's no sex in it. Because that's how VNs work. Okay, the tag is no sexual content, not that there is sexual content. And I didn't want to look at all the tags because there can be some spoilers in the tag sometimes. Even though they try their best to keep them out. So I guess we'll find out together. And we can all experience it together if it happens. And I will narrate it. And I will try to make sure to add some flair so that it's not boring. Live on stream, yeah. Well, like, if I'm not affiliate, surely I'm like, the rules are looser for me, right? Like, I can just do whatever I want on this website. You know, we'll get banned together. No, there's no need to get. No one's gonna see it. Okay, no one's gonna see it. I doubt if there's a Twitch stuff person in here watching a fucking Sekimeiya stream. Then you know, I guess goodbye. Say goodbye to all your missed pre-roll ads. Yeah, dude, no more pre-roll for me. Feels bad, man. I'm gonna have to do ads the old-fashioned way. No, that can't be. What is this symbol? Is this the guy or one of the girl from there? Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is the guy. The guy who remained quiet finally spoke. Watch anime on your stream. Watch Genpai on your stream, you can. What's Genpai? Genpai? Senpai? What did he say? No, that can't be. Well, how does he know that? Was he in the hallway? We were right here when the smoke appeared. The moment we inhaled a bit of it, we were out like a light. We pretty much collapsed instantly. I see, then I couldn't tell you. I'm Spanish. J is H, I think. Henpai? You want me to watch henpai on stream? What the fuck is henpai? That's it, baby. Ah, yikes. From what I could see from there, the other rooms in the hallway were clean. If someone had been in one, they had to have been trapped too. I could recall that the alarm had played approximately 20 seconds after the smoke's appearance, but it was unlikely there had been enough time for it to entirely dissipate. So what? You inhaled the smoke for like 1 millisecond, then you collapsed, but this dude was like fucking up and about for like a good 10, 15, 20 seconds. Because if it was like, if he knew that the alarm happened 20 seconds after, he would have been You know, he would have inhaled it and had tons of like 20 to 30 seconds. He was still conscious. Also, what does he mean by other? I am kind of confused about the map of this place as well. I'm not really sure. I don't know if the game's just not describing it very well, or this is just a legitimately confusing fucking floor. Since, I mean, there's doors and shit fucking everywhere. Can't believe what you're telling us. What the fuck does this mean? Why are we trapped here? Alright, you need to relax, brother. Sincerely apologize, I'm confused as well, but there's nothing I can tell you. We all will have to be here all day, but I'll try to figure out what happened. My name is Kate Kuiji. Kate Kuiji. My god, dude. Can you just name yourself John or something? For fuck's sake. It was ridiculous, but we couldn't fight it. After a period of silence when nobody knew how to react, the woman spoke. She's Isla, my daughter. She's been unconscious since the smoke appeared, but her breathing's steadier now. I'm Arena. I'm Shiroya. And my name's Asuki. We came here together. How old is she? She'll be 10 in a bit more than a week. Her birthday is 2 days before Christmas. Yeah, because the date is December 15th. Or 2011 or something like that, I think? I'm not sure if I gave it. I'm pretty sure it's 2011 or something. Realizing the rest of his group had introduced themselves, the guy followed. I'm Sai. Oh, thank God is a normal, but a fucking short name. Thank God. He looked back at the man separated from us. Akaro. Immediately, the silence returned. What the hell had happened? I thought back on the wordless alarm that had locked us in. It had lacked a message, seemingly only designed to tell us that we'd been trapped. It made sense if the culprit was one of us, but not even the staff member who was still there had any idea who it could have been, which made things difficult. And the target of the attack, it had to have been the Sekimeiya. There was no way it wasn't related. The very first showing of a newly discovered gemstones being interrupted meant only one thing. Oh my god, these guys, man, I swear to fucking god. We hadn't checked whether the Sekimeiya was still in the room, but it was confirmed that it was still in the building with us, even if it had been taken out of its cabinet. They still haven't checked on it, bro? Are you kidding me? The attack had been deliberate. That was the most important point. Whoever was responsible, I wanted to find them out and expose them. It was deeply personal. Why is it personal? Why is it deeply personal? Yeah, it's not bad. It's not anything like crazy special or anything like that. Like, it's not bad. Security guy is mad sus. What the fuck is my boy doing? The smoke was fucking us all up. How did he not see Naomi since he was in the other hallway and the door there was open? What else is there? Sai and I forgot the other girl's name. What was the other girl's name? Arena. Sai and Arena. I'm pretty fucking chill, but their daughter dying. I assume this is Isla. Yep. Cough, cough. We all glanced at Isla's pained face. After the second cough, she proceeded to slightly open her eyes. This music is good. I actually like this music. I don't know how well it fits with the themes, but you know. Isla, finally, are you okay? How do you feel? Arena's sudden outburst seemed to confuse her daughter. She raised her head and blinked blearily at all of us. Looking back at her mother, she coughed weakly again and spoke. But where are we? What are we doing here? Her disorientation definitely wasn't helped by the fact that all the walls were stained black. Shiroya seemed like she wanted to say something, but she held back and let Irina speak. We're still inside Ashiya Tower. Do you remember all that smoke? It knocked us out, and you're the last one to wake up. Irina stroked Isla's head gently, which seemed to soothe her. Weren't we going to see the Sekimeiya? I'm trying to remember what happened after that, but I can't. Did we ever do that? Now this kid is well spoken. Damn. No, sweetie, we were waiting for that in this very hallway when the smoke came out. Do you not remember? Oh, smoke? I'm not sure. Is this that hallway? Why is everything black? That's also the smoke's doing. It stained everything it touched. What the fuck is a Sekimeiya? I don't fucking know. I don't fucking know. It's some sort of gem that these cunts have not even looked at to see if it's even missing. Is it even missing? Who knows? I don't know if it's missing. He hasn't fucking looked at it. He was in the room with it and he didn't look at it. What the fuck's wrong with you? Shiroya finally spoke up. Isla seemed to realize that everyone else had faint black stains in their clothes, so she looked down at her own to find them almost completely clean. At her height, her head had been primarily affected, but Irina had evidently wiped off the remnants already. Oh, she's talking about the girl, not herself. Do you feel okay? You've been out for a long time. I was really worried. Sorry, I think I feel okay, but my head hurts. But why are we here? Why is there no light, and why are we alone? This kid is asking a lot of questions, and like they're not stupid questions. It's very suspicious. She's not even asking about us, dude. You know, she's gonna ask about the random people. We all looked at each other, and for a few seconds nobody knew how to answer. Petey quickly decided it was his job to do so. And she's suspicious. Maybe she's the robber. Who's Katie? Oh, it's the fucking security guard. Kate. Not Katie. Kate. Kati? I forgot how to pronounce Japanese. I'm not aware of what caused the smoke, but it must have triggered a special alarm that shut down all entrances and exit methods. That means that we will still have to stay here for the next 12 hours, and it's possible there's only 8 of us who didn't evacuate in time. Bro, what? You're like explaining it to like this little girl, like she's fucking an adult. This kid's like, what? We all slightly lowered our heads, unsure whether his abrupt explanation had been a good idea to direct at a kid who had just woken up. Yeah, I fucking know, eh? What the fuck's wrong with you, bro? He's... Isla proceeded to process that information in silence for a minute. I didn't expect you to take it well. But against my own prediction, she passively tossed out some words in response. Oh, I see. So we're going to be here for 12 hours? What will we do until then? What is going... What? I don't understand. This is not accurate. This kid is too, like... At least there's like, sort of bringing attention to it, that she's being really, like... She's being fucking all mature about it and shit. Wait, don't tell me this is like... Oh no, is she gonna be like 25 years old? You know, she's actually 25 years old and she's really clever. Ah, boys, here we go. I forgot that I'm playing a Japanese game. I should have known that was a possibility. I was relieved that she hadn't reacted badly. Telling a kid to stay put somewhere for many hours was something that could have gone much worse. It's because she's not a kid, guys. She's actually 25 years old. Sadly, there's not much to do here. This first floor is filled with exhibition rooms, and it's officially called the Crystal Floor in reference to all the gems. The upper floors are nothing but offices, and I'm afraid they're as uninteresting as they sound. Can we fucking check on the Sekimeiya, bro? Can we please do that? The offices? Does that mean we could use them to communicate with the outside? Is that what you meant earlier when you said that could be possible? Oh no, usually that would be the case, but the local internet connection is also something that the alarm shuts down. Precisely to block all communication methods. Well, what about like, you know, 5G, bruh? Was there 5G in 2011? I don't think so. 4G. Was there 4G in 2011? What was it, like iPhone 3 or 4? Maybe it was only 3G. The internet connection was cut. When will it come back when the exit opens? Well, it doesn't fucking matter when the exit, like, who gives a fuck at that point? Yes, we can't access it until then. There's no phone either. I don't have mine here. This is actually not bad, because like, this is like what's going to happen to us in like a few hours. Like we're going to be trapped. I'm going to be trapped in my house for 12 hours. No internet. No phone. I'm trapped with a kid that's way too smart, which is my dog. And then there's some smart as fuck annoying black-haired guy, which is me. Honestly, this is not bad. Very accurate. I wonder what we will learn. There's no phone either, and I don't have mine here. Yeah, because we gave our phones away, but then we didn't leave them we didn't leave them outside. Like they're in the building, right? And how does the security guard not have a fucking phone on him? What the fuck's wrong with you, bro? What did you mean then? How do we have any way to speak to anyone outside? The room where I work, the security room, has a function that lets us enable communication with the outside. That one should not be out of commission. Okay, so it's literally right there, right? Like it's right there. The security, or is it through the Sekimeiya room and then in the other hallway? Because I'm pretty sure that's where he came from. That was slightly relieving. If we could talk with people and understand the situation better, that'd make the wait much more bearable. However, it seemed strange to me that a communication method wouldn't be disabled. Entirely blocking off the exit and shutting down the internet connection had seemed to indicate the goal was to fully isolate the interior. Ignoring one method sounded a bit strange, which must have meant it wasn't one anyone would know how to access. I don't think it's that weird. It's like, is that really weird? I think it'd be even weirder if there was no way to communicate with the outside. What's the point of trapping everyone in here if if the people outside have no idea what the fuck's going on? Isla stood up and brushed herself off. She seemed ready to say something else, but a nearby sound startled us. We turned to face it and were met with the door opening. It was the one that led to the lobby. Is it the blue head? Is it the purple? The blonde? Sorry, is it Naomi? Had someone else gotten trapped? I thought that was until I saw a sign next to the door. Then I realized he hadn't said anything since he told us his name. His left hand was gripping the knob. Where are you going? It looked like we were all a little confused that he'd been about to leave without warning. I'm going to check the lobby. I'm not doubting what Kay has said, but I haven't personally seen the exit close, so I'm curious if it could be forced open, for example. Wow, checking stuff? That's crazy. You just assume that things are that way, right? Like, you assume that the gem is stolen instead of checking instead of opening the goddamn container. Nobody said anything. Instead, everyone but Shiroya, who was still sitting down, began to slowly walk to the door. I took the opportunity to pull her aside and check on her. This was a deliberate attack, and I want to find out who did it if I can. Are you okay with that? Why are you asking me that? If you want to just hole up in a room for 12 hours, I'll respect it, but I don't want the person or people responsible getting away, and I think you feel the same way. Why do you feel like this? Why? I want to know. Yeah, I just don't want you to get caught up in something dangerous, Atsuki. It's not like I'm some detective, I know that, but if you notice someone lying or find out something I don't, I want to know. I just figure if we really are trapped here, we should keep track of what happens. The culprit must have gotten trapped, so we can't trust anyone here. I know, usually the police would handle this, but if the cameras are all covered, there might be no records. And if they got away, I knew perfectly well what she meant without her finishing the sentence. Well, clearly they have some sort of attachment to this Sekimeiya gem thing. Because it seems very odd the way they're reacting. I'm hoping that whoever did this was stupid enough to get caught on camera before that happened, but we'll see. I know you're right, we're not the police, I just don't know who we can trust. Sorry, I'm just trying to process everything. I didn't mean to be so quiet until now. I feel the same way you do. Maybe I feel worse actually. I hate this. I want this to be over. Yeah, me too. Let's get going. I helped Shiroya to her feet and we headed to where everyone else had gone. I cannot believe that we have not checked on the goddamn gem. This is making me so mad. As if we'd stepped into another world, the lobby looked almost as if it had when we'd last been there. The lights weren't blackened, but some had been turned off, most likely automatically. Only a bit of the smoke had sneaked through the gaps of the doors, forming a dark outline around them. That would have been all if it weren't for the metal shutter blocking the door we'd entered through. Aside from the reception desk, the only things of note in the room were the couch and cleaning bucket. Everyone seemed to have lapsed into silence except for Kay, who simply appeared as if he didn't know what to tell us. Oh, guess there's no way we're opening that. Isn't it a bit too much? Why would they trap us like this? I agree that this looks over the top, but I'm afraid the same has occurred with every window of the tower, and that all the blockades are designed to not let sound pass. We won't be leaving earlier than intended. I apologize that this has happened. Even sound isn't allowed through? Damn. Absolutely wild, bro. Well, this girl looks so much more different than I expected to look, based on the other image. Can't you at least tell us why? Why is there a metal shutter here? This doesn't look normal at all. My apologies, but as I said earlier, I'm not allowed to supply that information. But don't misinterpret me. Even though I could give you some details, I'm mostly kept in the dark when it comes to knowing the reasons. I'm only charged with making sure the system is functional, so I wouldn't be able to tell you much about what you want to know. What are the details you know then? Look at it from our perspective. We can't stay in the dark forever. I understand, I promise. However, I can't say anything. We all feel the need to sigh. Knowing information was being kept from us wasn't a pleasant thought, and it disrupted any cooperation we might have wished for. However, it would have been unreasonable to press the issue further. 12 hours it is then. After saying that, he walked up to the shutter and tried to move it aside to confirm that it was as steady as it looked. Of course it didn't budge at all. Shrugging a little, Sai turned back. This door wasn't closed, by the way, it was slightly open. Yeah, I saw that. And look, very little smoke passed through it. So it was opened after the smoke was released. Yes, it was closed when we were knocked out. I was the one who opened it. I see. I looked at the other door. Although it was closed, it appeared that more smoke had gone through it. Oh yeah, there's no map yet. I was gonna try and get a minimap going because I don't like, because there's a setting here that says minimap display. But yeah, it's not there. So I assume I'm so damn confused. Yeah, I don't know what's happening. There was something else piquing my curiosity. Okay, you said all methods of escape were sealed. What are those? Or rather, how many of them are on this floor? On this floor, only this one. It doesn't have windows, so this is all that's locked. The other floors do have windows though, and they were fully sealed too as soon as the alarm went off. I see. I'd assumed the smoke's goal was to isolate the event room to have an easy path to it, obtain the gem and then leave with it, but that's strange. Strange? I think that's the most likely scenario too. I say that because the lobby has been left alone. If the goal was to bring the Sekimeiya outside, why wouldn't they also release the smoke here? After all, 2 full hallways were attacked, so why not the lobby too? I guess if they grabbed it, they grabbed the gem and then they like sort of filtered in with the people leaving, so they could sneak out or something. Maybe. If you put fucking smoke in this room and everyone here gets trapped as well, then you know, now you're trapped inside the same place as everyone else. So that's not good. Yeah, if the goal was to bring the Sekimeiya out during all the confusion, it doesn't make sense that they didn't do it here. I don't know what released the smoke. I didn't say anything in the hallways, but this is a much bigger room. It could be that whatever method they used simply wouldn't have worked here. Maybe if you wanted to block off the security cameras only to then be spotted in this hall, your plan obviously wasn't very well thought out. Could it be that leaving with the Sekimeiya wasn't the goal of the plan, or maybe that they intended to do it later? Is it realistic to think that anyone could alert everyone with smoke, leave with this incredibly rare item, and not be caught immediately? Even if the cameras were blocked, once outside, you're still one of the last people to exit and wouldn't be allowed to leave freely and unexamined. I guess that's true, because there's police outside, right? There's something that comes to mind, and it's why I only asked about this floor's escape routes. The lobby was never used to escape. Now, Kay says the windows on the other floors are sealed, meaning if they are not, they provide a feasible way out. Keeping in mind that the alarm came late and that we never actually saw the Sekimeiya, could it be that by the time we stepped into the room, it already wasn't there? I don't know, who knows? There's no way to know for sure because we haven't even looked at it. We don't even know if it's gone or what could be left there. The culprit could have gone up a floor to escape through the windows. Kay hasn't spoken about the footage of this time frame, so he might not have been looking at the cameras. Then again, even if the cameras spotted the culprit, they'd be able to leave through a prepared window route and flee immediately once outside. Then use an automated mechanism to create the smoke and lock the tower right before the Sekimeiya is ever shown to the public. For the people outside, this would make it look as if it's still in the building and entirely obscure the time which it was stolen. We started our session a bit later than expected because Shiroi and I were slightly delayed, but even if we'd gone faster and seen the missing Sekimeiya, it wouldn't have meant anything to the person who'd successfully stolen it, since it would soon be locked inside. If I assume some cameras recorded the culprit leaving through the window, it doesn't make sense that the smoke would then be deployed. However, if they also had a way around those cameras using another method, it'd give off the illusion that someone who got trapped must have been the one to steal the Sekimeiya, and only after the smoke showed up. After all, the lobby was left untouched, and no one would have left through it after the smoke appeared. I guess that makes sense, yeah. But it's like, the thing I don't understand is where is Naomi? Like, if she is not got nothing to do with it, if the guy has already taken the Sekimeiya, why the fuck is she like, where is she? How is she gone? Why is she gone? If the person just stole it and bounced, and then, you know, and then this is ages before the, you know, 9 AM viewing. What the fuck's happening? Why is she gone? Since the alarm came later, whatever else the culprit did one floor above must have triggered it. Maybe the culprit triggered it purposely, which is why it didn't match the smoke's timing. That would be a great plan to end in success. How does the culprit trigger the alarm? Like, you know, unless there's security guard, like they're in on it, you know. I might be deluding myself a bit too much. I'm also assuming they were able to get the Sekimeiya out of the cabinet without being noticed, which is probably too hard to believe. Not to mention Naomi unlocked the cabinet with a key, meaning it was locked by that time. So why would the culprit lock it after getting the Sekimeiya out, let alone have a way to do it? Which is true. I believe it's far simpler than that, Sai. Kay took a while to answer, while I'd been thinking he also had. After all, the lobby doesn't have security cameras. What? I realized immediately I'd already gone too far and got slightly embarrassed. Making up complicated theories was a habit of mine, and making a leap without even considering the facts was the last kind of mistake I needed to be making given the circumstances. Regardless, that seemed pretty ridiculous. It was a big lobby, so even though I couldn't spot any cameras, I had figured they were well hidden. All of us frowned, doubting the decision. I know it might sound strange. Next to the main door are guards who inspect everyone who enters, making sure they don't possess any kind of suspicious item. For this very reason, the fact that a big quantity of smoke was somehow released from the inside is already very strange. There's nothing of value in this lobby. The only way to access any valuable item is by entering the actual exhibition section through one of the two hallways. There is no other way to reach the gemstones aside from these two doors. Since there are cameras in the hallways, the entrance to the valuables is monitored. Having them here is simply not necessary. What the hell? You guys are not very good at the security thing, are you? We have our reasons, but nobody could steal anything and leave without being recorded. But it meant, with the smoked hallways, it was actually possible someone could have stolen something and left without being seen by the cameras. Although it was incredibly hard to believe that, once outside they could have managed to leave with a stolen object. Even more so after seeing how harsh the security measures were. Without a doubt, everyone who'd evacuated must have been searched to make sure they hadn't been in possession of anything suspicious. Yeah, it doesn't make any sense either way. Like, you steal the item, you go outside, you get caught by police. Instead, you steal the item, you stay inside with everyone else, and they either catch you while you're trapped, or you leave. You know, the door opens up again, you leave, and then you get caught anyway. Unless their plan is to hide for 12 hours, and then as soon as everything opens up, you fucking jump out a window and fucking glide away or something. Or simply that you know, the other method is, like, I guess you hide it in the building and you come back for it like later, like, you know, weeks, months later, you come back for it. Like, you just hide it somewhere in the building where no one will see it. You said there's no way to make it to the actual rooms containing the gemstones, then what about that door? She was pointing at a smaller door situated behind the reception desk. Oh, that leads to a room right under us. Past the door, a staircase goes to the room that stores the main boiler for the building. The electricity meter, the circuit breakers, and some pieces of furniture that we don't use anymore. Naturally, there are no cameras there either. I'm trying to think of, like, how the smoke gets released if it's at, like, child head height. 10-year-old child head height, like someone's pockets or something, like, I don't know. Like, it wouldn't come from like a water system, because, you know, I don't think, like, it doesn't really match up. It's right under us? Yes, the staircase is a semicircle, so that room, which we could call the mechanical room, is below the lobby. What about that computer? Can we use it for anything? No, as I said earlier, the internet connection has been cut. That's not all though. The alarm also disabled this computer so that the people trapped inside couldn't look through its files. Yeah, that makes sense. Is the door locked? It's not, since it's right behind the reception counters, visitors can't enter it. I doubt the room could have been used for anything regarding this incident. Even if someone managed to make it inside, they would have needed a key to access the breakers, but it's not like the lights went out. Would Naomi have had that key? Naomi? No, that's not part of her job. I do have it, but I don't think I've ever used it. As a thought, could we power off the system in charge of the alarm to open up the exit? No, of course not. It'd be a big oversight if a thief could go there, force open the lid, and then break free. Not every circuit can be handled from that room. Only the basic ones that power on the lights and such. Essential operations like the security system and maintenance functions can't be turned off. I see. With another escape method eliminated, our spirits sank. Meanwhile, Isla seemed captivated by our talk and stared at us intensely. What is that? She seemed to be looking at Shiroya's neck. This? It's a pendant. I believe it's tanzanite, right? Oh, she has a pendant. It just appeared on her now. Yeah. Oh, it's really pretty. I want one like it. Oh, she's asking me if it's tanzanite, so we gave it as a gift to her then? So, like, we're dating then? Because I wasn't actually sure what the relationship was. Oh, it's really pretty. I want one like it. See, you said it's tanzanite? I really doubt that. This seems to be an imitation. I think they're very common. Is that so? I don't know. Shiroya gave him a terse reply, obviously displeased. If it's not, then that gem must be worth an immense sum. Ah, it doesn't matter though. I really like it. Isla, you said you wanted to say something else before, right? What was it? Why does she have such an expensive gem that was given to her probably by me? Are we robbers? Are we people? Are we the ones that are stealing it? There's still all that weird shit at the start that you know, that we haven't got explanations for. Yeah, we came in for the Sekimeiya, right? I just wanted to go see it. What if like that's the Sekimeiya right there? It's already, we already have it. It's on her chest. It's on her pendant. She glanced down, expecting to get scolded, but nobody reacted that way. There's no way it's still there, right? What even was it? Just check it, guys. Just go in there and check. Sai began looking at me and ended his sentence at Akaro. We hadn't mentioned that we hadn't yet seen the Sekimeiya, so since I had freely spoken about it having been stolen, it was only natural that he had assumed we'd seen it missing. Oh my god, is there something in there? Like, there's no way that there's gonna be something in there. Okay, if there's gonna be something in there, it might be like another gem. That's like some, like, it just looks like it's some shit gem. You know why? Because that's the gem that was in here, and then they replaced it with the Sekimeiya. You know what I mean? That sounds like something that might happen. Actually, we don't know. We never saw it. We were gonna check it out when we woke up, but Arena's shout interrupted us. Are you serious? Shiroya and Akaro nodded as well, and everyone else had the same look as Sai. It seemed that all assumed the Sekimeiya had been stolen. Once again, without warning, Sai made his way out of the lobby. Ayla was the first to follow him. No one objected, as we were all curious about whether the Sekimeiya actually was, and whether it would even be there. About what the Sekimeiya was, and whether it would even be there, yeah. Like, it's just like, come on, you check that shit immediately. Come on. Is it gonna be like Danganronpa style? It's gonna be a body in there. Shiroya and I made our plans, made our way back to the room where we'd fallen unconscious. Once Kay entered, our 7 pairs of eyes focused on the dark colored curtain that blocked the view to the cabinet's interior. So you're saying that none of you saw behind this curtain before or after the smoke, right? Yes, Naomi was about to raise it, but then the smoke appeared. People went quiet at the mention of Naomi. Given the alarm had played when she'd been there, her disappearance was very strange. Let's see then, what do you guys think? Is it still here? It was very hard to think it would still be, and going off the expressions, everyone else agreed with me. I say it is. That would make things more interesting, wouldn't it? And I'm curious about how it looks. After those questionable words, Sai proceeded to slowly raise the curtain, exaggerating his own action. As the curtain was being raised, dust that had gotten stuck on it shook loose and formed a little pile on the floor. The major part of what the curtain was covering was clean wood that contrasted the stained room. Finally, a transparent pane of glass sheltering the cushion came into view. Okay, interesting. I'll have to look back at that. The curtain had been fully raised. Because of the darkness of the room, it took us a bit to see what was behind the glass. Behind that glass. Let me see, is it there? Sai, being next to the cabinet, was staring inside, and we all got closer as well. Inside was a red cushion, a colour that would have definitely looked beautiful if not for the lack of proper illumination. And on that cushion, occupying a small space of it, was a white coloured sphere. Looking closer, it wasn't actually a sphere, but an egg-shaped stone. It shined very faintly. Are you kidding me? It was big and could easily be mistaken for an actual egg. However, we all knew it wasn't. Naomi had told us that it was an incredibly rare gem, and putting aside how simple it was, it looked very pretty and elegant. It's this, right? It wasn't taken. Are you saying this was Ashi's big find? How can we be sure it's the real thing? It is. I have seen it before. I happened to spend hours in front of the security cameras. Ayla looked dumbfounded and couldn't help but stare. How disappointing. I guess it'd still please all those other people, but I came here purely out of curiosity, and despite not having any kind of expectations, I'm embarrassed to admit I'm a bit let down. This can be as rare as you want to call it. It's just an egg. But it's just an egg. An incredibly valuable one, apparently. And it's still here? What was all that smoke for then? I know, I said I hoped for this to be the case, but I'm not sure, I'm not too sure anymore. This probably means that the culprit's plan wasn't really all that elaborate. They might just plan to spend 12 hours with us, and then when it's time to leave, have an easy way out with this thing. And how exactly will they pull that off? I don't know, but it's practically impossible. What's happening doesn't have to do with this, right? The end goal must be to steal it, so that just means that the plan isn't over yet. I'm not so sure. Hey Kay, do you know if Naomi was aware of the existence of that alarm? Naomi? She should not have been, but I couldn't tell you for sure. Why? Imagine this for a second. Naomi's job is perfectly positioned for this. She acted confused when the attack happened, but was prepared for the smoke. However, the alarm that locked her inside didn't factor into her plan because she wasn't aware of it. Atsuki, you said you heard the alarm for a few seconds after the smoke was released. Do you know how many approximately? 20, maybe? But 20 seconds later, pretty much everyone is unconscious and Naomi hears this alarm. By this point, she doesn't know what is trapping her in the tower. If she had, she would have pretended to be unconscious until we all woke up. But she didn't. Instead, she obtained the Sekimeiya thanks to her key and left with it to proceed with her plan. I'm not sure how it continues now or how she intended to escape, but she realized that the exit had been blocked off. Kay said this was a very specific alarm that hadn't gone off before. So it'd make sense if she didn't recognize its sound. I want to look back at those descriptions. The dust that had gotten stuck on it shook and formed a little pile, I assume from the smoke? The major part of what the curtain was covering was clean wood that contrasted the stained room. So, if the wood was clean and stuff, that means that like it wasn't open when the smoke was coming out? Like it wasn't, you know, someone didn't go in and grab it and put the curtain back on or something. But she didn't. Instead, she obtained the Sekimeiya thanks to her key and left with it to proceed with her plan. I'm not sure how it continues now or how she intended to escape, but she realized that the exit had been blocked off. Kay said this was a very specific alarm that hadn't gone off before, so it'd make sense if she didn't recognize its sound. Well, as she finished searching for an exit or a way to continue with the plan, she thought her only choice was to come back and play the confused card. But as she was coming back, she probably heard me opening the door and backed out. Interesting. Okay, it's getting late. I wonder if I should just keep going or if I should just end it there. We'll just do like a short one. Maybe I'll come back to it tomorrow. It seems pretty interesting so far. I do like it. It's just a lot of fucking reading. It's just tiring me out, all this reading this late. But I like it. I kind of like it so far. I mean, we'll see where it goes. It's just mainly a bunch of text yet. I'm sure there's tons of mechanics I haven't got to yet. Yeah. Okay. Let's just end it there for now. So I'll save again. Okay. I'll try and play this tomorrow. I think it's pretty fun. We'll see if we can get a good stream going tomorrow with the game. Okay. See you guys. Have a good one.